Yeah, so today I did plan to see you a lot earlier, but my day, excuse me, it just didn't go like that. I sound husky. Let me have a drink. So yeah, my day, when you just have those days where it's just like the hours just go. Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of running about to do. But anyway, I was coming on here to just explain one or two things to you because a few people have asked me, like, what do you mean when you say you're a rubbish artist? So yeah, I've come to explain myself. So yeah, I'm a rubbish artist. Basically, I'm a upcycler, creative upcycler. I make things out of clean packaging, recycled materials. I utilize my resources, and I make unique pieces of African art out of those pieces. So yeah, I would like you to follow me on my journey to see some of the things that I make. I'm going to be talking over past pieces, things that I've made, and basically I came on here today to tell you how it all started. So it's about 8 years ago now, and I started working in a supermarket. So long story short, I started working in a supermarket. It was like a quick 4 hours in the morning. Start at 6, finish at 10. Done. Hard graft. One member of staff. We won't say which supermarket. Anyway, so basically this job was so hard, so I had to change my mindset. I had to, really get in my zone, and stay focused and remain on my purpose, to fulfill my purpose. So I go to work, I do my graph, I do my 4 hours, and then it was like, one day my boss said to me, he came to me and he said, Maki, because he never said my name, because for some reason it was hard to say Makida, but it wasn't hard to say Katrina, but it was hard to say Makida. But we won't go into that. That's something else, nothing to do with that. So he came to me one day and he said to me, really excited, really condescending, and he said to me, Maki, do you like your job? And I looked at him and I said, job? I thought, you cheeky, Beep. I said, job? I said, this is not my job. I said, this is my gym. This is not my job. I said, I come here to train, to work out. I said, I work 4 days, 4 mornings a week. I said, 4 hours a day. I said, this is my graph, this is my gym. I get paid to come to the gym. People pay to go to the gym and I get paid to come to the gym. Well, if you saw the red-eyed look on his face, yeah. And that day I thought, you know what? I've got to keep on my focus. So I started working on cleaning the floor and pushing this machine, and I'm watching them with their crates, collecting all these, sorting out all the packaging. And it was like the packaging just spoke to me. I mean, obviously, the packaging wasn't speaking to me, but it was, without any words. And I could hear it without any sound. Yeah. I mean, maybe if there's any, like, crystal healers out there, spiritualists, people like that, spiritual healers, you'll understand what I'm saying. You'll get it, because I know that some of you out there, crystals speak to you. Some of you out there, trees speak to you. Some of you out there, different things speak to you. But this packaging spoke to me. It spoke to my inner creativity. It's like it drew it out. Like I could feel the buzz, like, oh my gosh, got to get my hands on that. So I started taking, like, not taking, but just, they were throwing it away. They were sending it, this particular supermarket were crushing that packaging in balers. They're putting it in the baler and crushing it each day. Fresh, crisp packaging. Yeah, and they were crushing it and putting it in the baler and selling it to China. Now I thought to myself, oh, sorry China, but I think you've had enough now. So I started collecting packaging, and at first I thought, oh, do you know what? I think, I'll make clocks. So I started getting these old clocks and pulling them apart. And you'll see on one of my videos, if you look on, if you look on my socials, which I'll tell you at the end of the video, if you don't know already. But you're watching me on here, so this is one of my socials, so you kind of already seen me. So anyway, I made a clock, and I thought to myself, do you know what? It's not allowing me to like really draw my creativity, because I'm not a crafter. I'm crafty more than I'm a crafter, so, I'm not a crafter. I don't measure things don't be straight. I don't fold things in a certain way and do this. I work from inner creativity. I work from how I feel. I can see the sculpture in my mind before I even sculpture. Trust me. Yeah. And it's like, so basically I was collecting this packaging, and my work associates, I was like the joke of the place, They was like, well, they would do. They'd think, what's up with her? This grown woman's going around going to the bailiff. Oh, wow. Oh, I take this. And I was, collecting everything. And it became really addictive, And so every day I'd collect bin bags. I'd leave with all this packaging, and I'd go home and I'd sculpture into the morning. And this is when I burnt the candle at both ends. I burnt the candle at both ends because I was getting up at 4 to go to, get up, shower, go, walk to work, and then clean the supermarket, So I was like sculpturing till early hours, so I was barely sleeping. Creativity just flowing, Excuse me. So, yes, I remember one of my friends said to me, one of my sisters said to me, I've got this like, it was like a circular board. It was like the back of a mirror. And she said to me, do you want it? And I was like, yeah. And as soon as I saw it, I knew already in my mind. It was like it just spoke to me. And then I remember I remember seeing it, and I thought, you know what, don't touch my hair. I'm going to do a piece where it's a big afro. Because when I saw the circle, it reminded me of, like if you imagine a painting like of an Ethiopian figure, and you see the afro, like the afro, it's like a halo. So when I saw the circle, I just straight away thought, afro, big afro. And it went from there. So I remember somebody gave me some speaker foam, like from inside the speaker box, and I used that for the hair. And if you go onto my socials, you'll see how I built up that sculpture. They were laughing. They didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know what I was doing by night, because once I left the supermarket, Mackie didn't exist. So I went home and I was sculpturing into the night and really getting into it, really in my zone. So therapeutic. And when I tell you that I sold my first sculpture, my phone's ringing now. Why are they phoning me now? I have to do part 2 in a minute. I apologise.